Let's read Icarus and Daedalus from Ovid's Metamorphoses. Daedalus interea creten longumque perosus. That is Daedalus, or Daedalus, the father of Icarus. Meanwhile, having hated Crete. Now, he was exiled, he was held captive in the island of Crete. And that means that that's why he hates Crete. Having hated Crete and having hated the longum exilium, his long exile. Tactusque loci natalis amore is having been touched by, and touched by the love of his born place. Literally his born place, but you'd say the place where he was born, or his native land, his native place. Touched by the love of returning to his native place. Clausus erat pelago. He had been closed in, he had been enclosed by the sea. So he's being trapped on the island of Crete, and he had been closed in by the sea. The tactus, you could take it as, even though it's a participle, having been touched by love, you can have it have this this sense of, although he was touched by the love of his homeland, he had been closed in by the sea. He said, "Terras licet, et undas obstruat." Licet here is, in the notes you'll see, it is allowed for King Minos to, and then obstruat is subjunctive, explaining what he's allowed to do. Normally this would be infinitive, but in poetry it's a little bit more flexible, and there's the subjunctive phrase. It is allowed for Minos to obstruct, i.e. block the path of land and of the waves, land and sea essentially. Or you could say Minos may block land and sea, but certainly the sky lies open. Ibimus illac, let us go there. Omnia possideat, non possidet aera Minos. He may possess everything, or let him possess everything. Non possidet, he does not possess the air, the aera. Minos is the subject. Minos does not possess the air. The aer is a Greek word. That's why it has such a weird pronunciation. And that's because in Greek it was spelt like aer, and then it's a rho, and then it was like aera in the accusative case. So it's a weird Greek word, and the double dot on top of an E means that it's pronounced as a separate syllable. Hence it's not aira, but aera. Dixit. He spoke. Et ignotas animum dimittit in artes. He sent forth, literally he sent away his mind into unknown arts. But then you could also say he gave his attention. Animum could be the attention of your mind to unknown arts. And he renews nature, or he changes nature. He's doing something unnatural when he's going to make someone fly. Nam ponit in ordine pennas, for he places in a row feathers. He places feathers in a row. A minima coiptas. Coiptas is agreeing with pennas. There's going to be a lot of feminine things that agree with pennas. Feathers which have been begun from the smallest ones. You can simplify that in English too, having begun them from the smallest. Longam breviore sequenti. He places a long one with a shorter one following. The commentary says, translate the ablative absolute first and then do the object. Because then it's sort of in sequence, like tiny, shortish, long. He places with a shorter one following, he places a long feather. And this is the sequence because it goes from minima, the smallest superlative, then it goes to comparative, which is kind of short. Not the shortest, but short-ish. And like with the shortish feather following, he places the long one. Ut clivo crevisse putes, so that you may think that it has grown with a slope. So that you may think that the wing or the feathers have grown with a slope. Sic rustica quondam fistula disparibus paulatim surgit avenis. That is introducing an allusion to a country instrument, a rustica fistula, literally a country flute, which is the panpipes, and they look kind of like here's a pipe, here's the next one, it's longer, and then you end up like binding them together like that, and you blow on the tops of it, so they have different notes. In this way, sometimes a panpipe rises with uneven pipes, little by little. And so it's comparing the placement of the feathers to the gradually increasing pipes in the panpipe. Tum lino medias et ceris algat imas. The et separates quite a lot here. Then he somethings the middle feathers, or the middle of the feathers, with a string, and he binds the bottom of the feathers with wax. What you want to understand is he binds the middle of the feathers by means of thread, and he binds the bottoms of the feathers with wax. So he's got this double binding going. At quita compositas parvo gurvamine flectit. And he turns the those that had been composed, i.e. arranged in this manner, he bends them with a little curve. A curvamen is a curve, so that he may imitate. Imitator is actually a deponent verb, so that takes that means that this is not passive. It's he is the subject, so that he may imitate true birds, real birds. Beautiful curve. Puer Icarus una stabat. The boy Icarus stands together. Et ignarus sua se tractare pericla. Suat pericla agrees together. Ignarus agrees with puer Icarus. The boy Icarus, ignorant of, or not knowing of, and like not knowing that. Se tractare. After a verb of knowing, this is accusative, infinitive, indirect speech. That he was handling his own sua pericla, his own dangers, literally. The things that were going to be dangerous to himself. Not knowing that he was handling what was going to cause his doom, his own dangers, ore renidenti modo, with a beaming face. Motto and motto goes together. Now he does this, now he does that. It expresses the kind of the numerous things that the little boy does that are quite annoying. Now and then the class is going to describe the plumas, the feathers which the breeze, the waga breeze, the wandering breeze have moved. He seizes the feathers which the wandering breeze had moved. So when he sees movement, he's like, I'm gonna touch that. He seizes the feathers which the wandering breeze had moved at one point, and then at another point, at another time, now he does this, now he does that. He softens. He kept on softening. Imperfect tense for something that kept on happening. He kept on softening the yellow wax with his thumb. So he's poking it. Lusu Quesuo. And by his game, by his sport, his own amusement of like poking the work, he was impediebating, he was impeding, hindering the opus mirabile, the wondrous work of his father. How annoying. Postquam manus ultima. That's describing the hand of his father. After the final hand, manus ultima, the final hand, impositas. I've given it an elision where the e in esse, the form of the verb to be, goes away, because in most cases when there is an elision of syllables, it's the first vowel that goes away, whereas whenever it's esse, it's the second one. Get rid of that. Impositas is it was placed. After the last hand was placed, and then placed on what, it takes a dative case, that verb. Although I also feel like it feels like an ablative of place where, but it's probably technically a dative. Coipto is the perfect passive participle that's standing in for a whole noun, the thing that had been begun. You could translate this as task. When after the final hand was placed on the deed, on the task, on the work, geminas opifex libravitin alas. That's the craftsman. Libravit comes from, like, you know how Libra is the star sign of the scales in balance. Libra is the word for scales in Latin, and libravit is he balanced. And opifex is the craftsman, the workman, the craft maker himself, ipse, balanced suum corpus, his own body, in alas. In plus accusative normally translated as into or onto, but it kind of makes sense to go on the wings. He balanced his whole body on the twin geminas, the twin wings himself. The craftsman himself balanced his own body on the twin wings. Motaque pependit in aura. And he suspended, he hung on the mota aura, on the having been moved breeze, but I'd say the moving breeze. It seems so vulnerable, how fleeting the breeze is blowing about. It's very exciting though. His work actually works, and isn't that great? It works too well even. Let's leave it off there, and I'll join you with the next two sections later.